This is Caring for Kids on News Talk 760 WJR. Presented by the Children's Foundation. And here's your host, President and CEO of the Children's Foundation, Larry Burns.
Well, thanks, Mark. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our June episode of Caring for Kids. On tonight's show, as every month, we have a great lineup. People who are doing great work that supports youth and families throughout the community. Joining us tonight, first will be Paul Davis, partner at Podium Risk Management and a member of the First Tee Greater Detroit Board of Directors. Rod Alberts, Executive Director of the Detroit Area Auto Dealers Association and the North American International Auto Show. And last but not least, Andy Appleby, owner and Chief Executive Officer of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. It's all coming up next, right here on Caring for Kids, on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
It's Caring for Kids with Larry Burns.
Welcome back, everybody. Joining me now is Paul Davis. Paul is a partner at Podium Risk Management and a member of the First Tee Greater Detroit Board of Directors. Paul, welcome to Caring for Kids.
Thanks for having me, Larry. Was looking forward to this for a while.
Well, thanks a lot. Me too. And now let's start with, you've had an exceptional athletic career on a large stage, not only in college sports, but as well as the NBA. How did all of those years of training and improving and discipline help you in your current professional role?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities that, I don't think I utilized when I first started in the business world, from having a structured day to the preparation and the practice prior to an event. We never had weekends, so 7-day weeks. But I think the biggest thing was really the attention to detail. The little things I think matter more than the obvious ones. And what I think companies, look for and what I think makes student athletes and ex-pro athletes great is their ability to get back up after, they fail or they do something wrong or they hear a no and, able to handle adversity. And that's one thing that, whether it's a game, a season, an injury, athletes deal with all the time.
Yeah, it's that resilience factor that you don't give up. You keep striving to get better or to get well. And that's so true about life in general, but certainly in the business world as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think one thing that any athlete needs to remember is whatever you're doing after your career, we're starting at the bottom because, it took us 15, 20 years to reach the elite level of our sport. And now, we can't be so trained to think that that's just going to transition easily into our next venture. So kind of having the humility or just, humbleness of knowing that you're starting something over, but you have a lot of skills that most people, continue to work for every day.
Absolutely. So speaking of your business role, tell us more about what your business activities are now.
My role as partner really is providing vision for our firm, our advisors, and the brand strategic relationships. We work with active or retired athletes, C-suite, and business owners around insurance planning and the ways that it can be utilized for those profiles. I've brought on David Thomas, former MSU basketball player, Benny Fowler, former football player, Super Bowl champion, and really what we're trying to build is just a group of great individuals that have really built an amazing brand over their sports career. And now you have so many people in your network that want to help you make that transition. And the longer that, honestly, I'm in this career or industry, what we do is maybe one of the most important things that people need right now, from financial literacy to planning to being educated on the resources out there. I think a lot of statistics have been put out and, they're scary and they should be, but, our industry needs to approach the American public in the right way. I'm not sure we've done that over the last 5 or 6 decades.
Well, you obviously are putting together a great team, and you're with a great group. We're talking with Paul Davis of Podium Risk Management and also a board member of our First Tee Greater Detroit. So I mentioned that earlier, that you're one of the inaugural members of our new board of First Tee Greater Detroit. And, I asked you to serve, and you didn't hesitate at all. And so tell our listeners what attracted you to that role and a bit more about what we're doing at First Tee.
I heard or, learned about it a long time ago, just watching, PGA Tour and golf is the one thing that my father and I did and were able to spend the most time. The off season is obviously summer. And so that was really my first passion. Believe it or not, basketball was probably number two. And, as I got more familiar with what we're doing and trying to do, it's really using golf as a vehicle to teach kids, the life skills that they'll need. And I think right now, this day and age, it's probably more important than ever with what children have to deal with COVID, in school, out of school, what they're seeing on TV of, how adults act. It's the one thing that can't ever be lost on a generation. A firm handshake, looking someone in the eyes. And we're bringing kids from all backgrounds. There is no one that will be left out. Golf is a game that the majority of people can do. And I think all those things, and having great coaches, great mentors, and really one-on-one coaching too, which a lot of kids, sometimes they don't get that one-on-one attention. And so I think all those things mixed together, create an amazing chapter here in Michigan, but one of many in the country.
Yeah. Well, and we talked earlier about resilience, and one thing golf teaches you is resilience. And so it's not easy, and if you get too frustrated, then you're probably not going to continue. So that's one of the life skills of, that you mentioned in your basketball career that you learned, but certainly First Tee teaches things regarding discipline and resilience and integrity and honesty that are very, very important.
Yeah, and all those things is what obviously golf represents. And anybody that plays knows you have to fall and get back up, fall, get back up, lose a ball, hit a good shot. So, I think over and over, especially in giving these kids somewhere that they can maybe have access to a new path to the future. You just never know where it will lead, but excited to see where we'll take it.
Yeah, and we now, I think, have 8 different golf courses that we're holding in-person programs throughout the region, and that's growing. I think we just added our first Macomb County partnership, and we hope to continue to do that. We have increased our coaches. Our coaches, as you mentioned, they're all volunteers, and they don't really need to be good golfers. They just need to be interested in helping youngsters learn the game as well as learn these life skills. And so we're sort of on the move as it relates to that. And how could people listening get involved either as coaches, participants, maybe their kids, their grandkids, or helping us raise money to do more?
We have a lot of great social media content. There's contact information there, our website, and exactly what you mentioned. I mean, we're trying to expose these children to, different courses and facilities, but, definitely looking for some practice areas, some private clubs. They deserve to see what amazing clubs are around the area. Donations and engagement in that capacity is always needed. But, the coaches are the lifeblood. Doesn't matter how many kids we have. If the coaches are not there or not up to par, no pun intended, it's an individual that could change, the kid's future. But it's a great area. I mean, talking about the perfect place to grow a chapter here in Michigan. And, we'll have some more and more events over time. Rocket Mortgage Classic. We'll have an area. Definitely, if anyone come stop by and say hello. But on our social media and the website, and then obviously if anyone's connected to me on LinkedIn, I'm more than happy to speak with you and see how we can get people more involved.
Great, thank you. And we have our second annual Ben Hogan Invitational of Michigan coming up on August 22nd. That's our main golf outing fundraiser. That's at the Country Club of Detroit. There's still sponsorships available. I know you're working very hard trying to get as many as possible. And so if anybody listening is interested in wanting to get involved, they can contact Paul on LinkedIn. They can go to our website, or they can contact me at the Children's Foundation as well. So we'll make it easy for everybody.
Yeah, it was a great first event last year. And I think, this will be one of the premier golf events in Metro Detroit over the next few years. And excited to play this year, and hopefully the rough is not as long as it was last year.
Right, yeah. So, and hopefully it won't rain like it did last year. So,
yeah.
Well, Paul Davis, thank you for all you're doing for First Tee. And I know you're very active with your Alumni Association at Michigan State, along with a bunch of other things that you're doing in the community. So we're lucky that you stayed around, and look forward to working you as we grow First Tee.
Absolutely, Larry, and appreciate your leadership, and excited to continue growing.
Great. Okay. See you soon. That was Paul Davis of Podium Risk Management and a board member of First Tee Greater Detroit. And coming up next, we're going to talk with Rod Alberts of the Detroit Area Auto Dealers Association when Caring for Kids returns here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR, presented by the Children's Foundation.
Welcome back, everybody. Larry Burns here, June edition of Caring for Kids. And with me is my friend, welcome back, Rod Alberts to Caring for Kids.
Larry, it's so good to be here talking with you. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Here we are.
As everybody knows, Rod is the executive director of the Detroit Area Auto Dealers Association and the North American International Auto Show. So welcome back. And I ran into Rod at the airport in Florida a while ago, and he said, stay tuned, big announcements coming up in April. And you weren't kidding.
Yeah.
And so it was great news. So tell our listeners maybe an update about the upcoming North American International Auto Show.
Well, first, I must say it's a pleasure being here and having you part of the charity preview and what we're looking forward to, and that's really the highlight of the week. But, I've been doing this show here for 30 years,
right.
So I've gone through the evolving of the show and the growth of the show, and everything has to change, and not just incrementally, but dramatically these days, especially with COVID and everything we went through. So coming out of it after 3 years, this show is not going to be the show you remember exactly. It will not have the mammoth displays. It's going to be more activations. So when you go downtown in warm weather, think about that for a minute too. Not January, but in September, it's going to be a whole different gig. So the beauty is you're going to be outdoor, indoor, and have a chance to really enjoy the community downtown. We're going to be a very community-based event more than ever this year because it's going to take partnerships to make it work. But expect a big breadth of different activations that'll happen in Hart Plaza and within Huntington Place itself. And again, I thought I knew all about shows. I'm finding out I have to reinvent and find out more things can be done to make this thing work in a different way and to the future of the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah, well, you're pivoting, as we like to say.
Exactly.
And that's awesome. I'm very excited about it. And the Children's Foundation is very, very grateful for all the years, all the funds that you've raised for us, and we're really excited to be part of that again. So thank you.
Well, you truly, been growing this thing going back again from the beginning of when I arrived, we were able to raise a lot of money, $100 million plus for charities. When you guys came into play with your team, it was a game changer for us too, because you brought so much to the table. So many people love, the community loves what you do.
Right, well, thanks.
And that makes a difference, and that's what at the heart of what we do. So, as long as you're a partner, we're going to be in good shape.
Absolutely. And we've pivoted too. We're Children's Hospital of Michigan, but we're more than that now. So gives people the opportunity to impact more kids with their support.
And hopefully we can be part of that education too. I think people need to know more, not just about the show, but more about what you guys are doing too. You do a great job with that, but we want to be part of that arm with you to make that difference.
Absolutely. Thank you. So can you talk a little bit about what changes or the charity preview itself of what we're going to expect?
Well, if you would ask me this 2 years ago, it was a whole different thing prior to what took place.
I did ask you 2 years ago.
You did, right. And we were going to make it more casual. People were just, the black tie thing, I thought had gone through its process. But what I'm finding now is people want the black tie to come back. And we are going full blown. You can put on your bow. You would wear your bow tie anyway, so it doesn't really. Yeah, but it gives you more purpose. You get a fancier one out, right? Not your daily.
A summer one.
Yeah, right.
Fall. Yeah.
Or fall. So that's going to be back into play. And I think again, a lot of people are going to have to dust off the black tie outfits and maybe buy a new. But people look forward to that, and we need that special event and that celebration, that moment of celebration for Detroit and what we're doing, and for the charities and for the kids that night. So expect outdoor, indoor entertainment. I can't announce the entertainment indoors yet, but we're going to go a little bit a higher elevation of what to expect, because we want to make sure we come out of this after 3 years in a big way.
In a big way, yeah.
So, but think about outdoors too. We want to make an outdoor event in Hart Plaza that people can come down on a free side of that too, possibly. We'll see how that works out. But they can come down, the younger crowd, and enjoy too.
Right.
So let's make sure all downtown's hustling and bustling, and all the restaurants are full,
we're all
and all
dressed
the bars.
up, and the bars and the restaurants. Well, you mentioned people are anxious or they want to get dressed up. We just had our Derby for kids, and we had 500 people, more than we've ever had. And honest to goodness, people said it was so cool to see people dressed up, you know, with blazers and bow ties, and ladies with dresses. So you're absolutely right. People are just really eager to get all dressed up with their friends. And so.
And I think there are a lot of great events during the year. Charity Preview has been a signature one for Detroit. I think it's important for us to have that hallmark event on Charity Preview night that again, raises a lot of money for the kids, celebrates the industry. It's a culmination of all things. And really, we want to make it a jumpstart too for downtown, not just on Charity Preview night, but for the 2 weeks we're there to make sure the economy is really going. Yeah. So it's a multifaceted event. But again, we're going to start selling tickets here in July, and it's going to be a beautiful event, beautiful night.
Yeah, one of the other things that's really interesting when people come from out of town, particularly now that you're going to be able to be outside, and they get to look at a whole different country across the river. You know, people that grow up here take it for granted. But, you know, I bring friends from wherever, Nebraska, wherever, and they said, that's really Canada because it's so close. So, you know, outdoors, you'll be able to see that true international flair of what Detroit has to offer.
Yeah, you know, you make a great point, and thanks for teeing that up for me, because what we have is a beautiful downtown, the way it's laid out, and with the river, and with Canada across the way, which is very unique to have, and a Hart Plaza that faces that, which is about, 20 or 30 acres. We're going to take those assets and put them into play. I can't give you all the things we're going to be doing. We're going to rebuild them in the next month or two. But imagine us using the sky and the river and all elements, because mobility takes in other facets just beyond cars.
Right.
We're going to turn this thing into a multifaceted mobility event. So don't be surprised what you see in the water and in the air.
Yeah, okay.
So get ready.
That's a nice teaser. And so I mentioned before we got on that I ran into Sandy Hudson and Tom Buell, and they had met with you. The Children's Foundation is very supportive of their effort, which is called Eyes Drive. And it's basically a safe driving, don't be distracted campaign that Robbie Buell and Sandy and Tom Buell are orchestrating. Foundation is helping. And I think they're going to have some kind of role with the auto show, correct?
Yeah, I've been talking to Robbie for a few years. He's a wonderful guy, famous race car driver.
Right.
But he's turned that into really something to help kids out. And I believe they've already saved lives, because what they're doing is teaching kids about distracted driving and the dangers. You don't get too many chances, second chances when you get a car accident. So I think the whole thing is they're going to create something that's going to be eventually not just in Southeast Michigan, nationwide. And it's going to touch the lives of parents and kids and all that too, to understand subconsciously that they need to focus when they're driving.
Absolutely.
And we all need to be focused.
We do. They kind of use a comparison that years ago, when not everybody wore a seatbelt and there was campaigns, buckle up, and now it's sort of a natural reflex to put on a seatbelt. And so they're hoping that people sort of over time, they don't pick up their phone. They don't talk to somebody in the car and look away, because that's when accidents happen. So I'm glad that they're going to be working with you on that. We're
building within the association, again, as you say, pivot. We're pivoting the Association of Detroit Auto Dealers into doing more in the educational programming. With the auto show, just teaching people about electric cars and and the safety and all that goes along with. We're also have been working with a program called Courageous Persuaders, which is right in parallel with what Robbie Buell and Eyes Drive do. We have every year an event in Detroit where we have awards given out, just like the Academy Awards,
right,
where high school students do 30-second commercials, which learn how to do commercials and do taping, and then that then is shared with middle school for judging that teaches about drinking and driving and the problems with that, and then also distracted driving. So all this kind of plays in hand, and if we can just save, one life along the way, it's worth it. But I think we'll save hundreds of thousands as we build it.
Absolutely, and that is a great purpose for what you're doing. Is there anything else you want our listeners to know about the auto show or anything else the auto dealers are doing?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to realize that I'm embracing after all these years too is that change it can be a crisis in itself, and we have to adapt. And what we've done is we have to go to the extreme sometimes in these times to tackle all the things that we have to do to make things continue on and build on the future. What we're doing at the DADA is reimagining, recreating the show. I'm sure you're having to do many of the things the same way too. We just want everybody to know this is going to be built on partnerships. It's going to be built on community. It's going to be built to make downtown strong and the economy. We want to be just a piece of that puzzle for the future of Detroit and the community and the generations to come and the kids. So the show is more than about the show.
Right.
It's more about what we're doing in the city and the community.
Right. Well said. And we want to be part of that partnership, not only for the auto show, but every day of the year. So,
well, help me sell tickets on Charity Preview Night, because that's number one. We got to. We need to raise some money.
I promise we will do that, and we'll do it the best we can. So, Rod Alberts, thank you for all you're doing and for pivoting, as I like to say. And we're all very excited about September, and so anything we can do at the Children's Foundation, we're going to do for you to help you.
Well, Larry, we love you guys. You do a wonderful job, and it's an honor to be on the air with you.
Thank you very much. That was Rod Alberts of the Detroit Area Auto Dealers Association. Coming up next, we're going to be talking some baseball with Andy Appleby when Caring for Kids continues right here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR. Presented by the Children's Foundation. Once again, here's Larry Burns.
Welcome back, everybody. Larry Burns here. June, Caring for Kids. And with me in the studio is Andy Appleby. Andy is the owner and chief executive officer of the United Shore Professional Baseball League and a great partner of the Children's Foundation now. So, Andy, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Larry.
Appreciate it. And wanted to start with, you've had a very dynamic career so far.
Yeah.
You're not done, that's for sure. A little bit of an international flair at one point, as well as being involved with the Palace of Auburn Hills, sort of in the heyday of the Pistons and that. And so tell us about your journey to today, and then we'll talk about what you're doing today.
Yeah, well, Larry, I was... like a lot of kids in New England, always wanting to be GM of the Red Sox.
Right.
And I was a high school and college wrestler and had a really great career on the athletic side, and went to Springfield College in Massachusetts for my master's degree in sports management. And then I came to work for the Pistons back in 1986 and had a really good career there, fortunately. Of course, we won championships along the way. And
built a beautiful stadium.
Fantastic facility, the Palace. Unfortunately, it's not with us anymore, but it was really a state-of-the-art facility at the time. It's kind of funny because I was with the Pistons for 12 years and have been on my own now for 24, so double that time, which is so how fast time flies. But the first thing I did was put together a little group of investors to buy a minor league baseball team in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mm-hmm. And I just fell in love with minor league baseball, just the fun, the family atmosphere, affordability, close to home, great baseball. And, from a business perspective, we didn't have to pay Miguel Cabrera wages either on players to have much of the same DNA of going out to a baseball game, especially in Michigan, where we're all indoors 7 months a year, and we love being outside. So there's part of that allure. But anyway, back in Fort Wayne, we were Team of the Year in 2003 and 2004 nationally. I just thought to myself, wow, it would be great to bring some form of this to Metro Detroit. So I'll come back to that. Then we started a synthetic turf business. So we did many to most of the high school and college football fields in the Midwest from about 2005 to 2009.
Okay.
And then the parent company for AstroTurf decided to buy us out, which was a good thing for us. And then just before that, we bought our first major team, and you kind of alluded to it, Larry. It was a Premier League soccer team in England, even though
the international flair that I mentioned.
Exactly. And up until that time, I had, always been a consummate relationship builder, but almost all domestically here. But when you're club chairman of a historic club like Darby County.
Did you have a soccer background?
No, no. But, when you're in sports management, again, back to that 98% same DNA, selling tickets, sponsorships, food and beverage, T-shirts, hats, sponsorships. It's all pretty much the same. It's just a different product, but it's still fun, family,
competition.
Competition, meritocracy, it's all there. And so it didn't faze me so much that I didn't know that much about it, although I have to say, I hate to admit it, but I was a little worried at the first press conference they were going to ask me some rule I didn't know. And I got through the whole thing, and then somebody said something, and I said, well, if it's 4-0, and that was the one screw up I had. I didn't say 4-0.
Oh, all right.
But anyway, what I was kind of getting at, when you're fortunate enough to be club chairman of Darby County, a club that is one of the original 12 teams of English soccer. We were like the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s in England. We won everything there was to win twice. They made movies about Darby County. But when you're chairman of that, you almost by osmosis become friendly with lots and lots of people because, people want to be your friend. And particularly English folks in America, love being my friend because, for them, that was like...
It was a connection back home.
Yeah, it was a connection. It was kind of like if you were president of the Red Sox or Yankees, they kind of thought of it that way. And so, anyway, a great experience for 8 years. Tons of highs, tons of lows, and, the responsibility of that is enormous because you have to remember 140 years, only game in town in Darby County, and these people really do live and die by the wins.
All you have to do is watch one of these games on television and you get it.
Well, exactly. But I've always said, if all there ever was in Detroit was a soccer team, there'd be rioting over that too. We have 100 things to keep ourselves occupied, and there's always another sport or an event around the corner.
Well, and I'm curious I'm watching the Detroit Soccer Club that plays in Hamtramck.
Yes.
I mean, those fans are like,
there's almost no
really
fans quite like soccer. I don't know why. But I actually went down to a game, my first game a couple of weeks ago, and I was amazed at the turnout, and it was really fun.
Serious,
And they do a great job down there. But anyway, so we had some, really amazing experiences, such as we played in 2014 in the richest game in the history of sports. Every year it's this same game where there's a playoff game at Wembley, 90,000 fans. And it was one of almost the great things about sports where one team can sometimes completely dominate and then they lose right at the end. And that's what happened to us. We had 14 corner kicks in the game to their 90 or 82% possession of, literally killing these guys, and 14 shots on goal. Nope, couldn't get the ball in.
Right.
The goalie was standing on his head, ricochets. And then they score with this miracle shot with no time left where we couldn't even come back. But that's why we love sports. You just hate to be on the back end of
that one. Right.
But that one only cost us $250 million.
Right. Well,
so it was a few sleepless nights.
I can imagine.
It was actually kind of cute because my wife, she won't like me for saying this, but she is not the biggest sports fan, but she fell in love with this team, and she literally cried for 10 days, and it was almost cute.
Almost.
Because all of us that have been sports fans, we had those experiences in junior high.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, we wound up selling that team in 2015. And then in 2016, literally driving into work, I just said, hey, if I do not, I know that I can build this park. I know I can create this great league. I know that, we can have a tremendous community asset. But if I don't do it now, when am I ever going to do it? Right. So literally, we were able to make an agreement with the city of Utica to build a ballpark. And then because I didn't really feel like I wanted to play in anybody else's league, I felt that I had sort of that skill and acumen to be able to use every good idea I'd seen her done on all aspects of the league, and it's nice when you can find a project like that that gets the very most out of you, including having lived here at that time for 30 years, to be able to utilize and sort of leverage all those great relationships that I built and the zillion favors I've did for so many people over the years at the Palace, and so that allowed me to allowed it to be what it is today, so successful. The one other thing that in the last 2.5 years to sort of complete in terms of building a new agency and sort of to complete my process of getting the most out of all the things I've done, I've actually started a new sort of a worldwide sports agency as well that has everything from player representation. So we have offices all over the world. We have about 100 different athletes that we represent, about 80 of which are men's footballers.
Okay.
And
soccer players.
Yeah. And quite a few women now. Women have risen up the ranks so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we do a lot of cool things.
Yeah. Talking with Andy Appleby, and we're talking about all the things that Andy has done in his career, and particularly the United Shore Professional Baseball League. Now, the Children's Foundation has a partnership with you this season, and we're very excited about it. And tell us a little bit about that partnership as you see it, and then what our listeners want to know about some other partnerships that you have that they'd be interested in.
Yeah, Larry. So I first want to commend you, not to patronize you as I'm on your show, but you've done such a wonderful job promoting the foundation, and literally just reading in Cranes, your article, and I thought, gosh, we have a tremendous fan base, a tremendous supportive base. We'd be perfect partners.
Yeah,
and literally, I called you, and we set up lunch, and we're able to put this together. And, I think from both sides, we want to continually give back to the community. This project in and of itself is wonderful for me because we can do well financially, but also do a lot of good.
Right.
And I think you have that same philosophy. And but in this case, we're able to highlight a number of the charities that you work with and represent, and to raise awareness, ultimately to raise funds. And it's great because we also have maybe a different side of Metro Detroit that maybe you haven't necessarily had maybe exposure to it. But I always say this to people, and they can't believe it, but Macomb County has over 1 million people in it. And Utica, where we sit for our ballpark, is the second largest school district in the whole state of Michigan.
The whole state, yeah, you told me that.
So many rooftops and so many people now getting exposed to First Tee and the Jamie Daniels Foundation, Paul W. Smith. And so anyway, it was a natural perfect partnership.
When you called me, Jill, we had our lunch meeting and said, we got to do this. So we're interested in expanding our brand in Macomb County. So boom, that was a winner. We're interested in family-related activities. Boom, that's a winner.
Yep.
You mentioned a couple of our affiliates. So Jamie Daniels Foundation, which will be highlighted at one game, trying to let people know about the work they're doing. And then First Tee Greater Detroit is now ours meaning the Children's Foundation. And so that'll be a great night to recruit kids, recruit coaches, and then all under the umbrella of the Children's Foundation. And so, I love working with the Tigers or the Red Wings, Pistons, but working with an organization like yours, everything is so much, I'll just say, easier to do. And I know that if I have one concern, I know one guy.
Exactly.
One guy I can call.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of our sponsors have said that over the years, that, we don't have to worry about rights fees and 20 or 30 owners to call and get their poll. Right. Pretty much I can make that call. And, we're very easy and great to work with. And but again, I can't think of a better partnership than this one, where, again, we can just all do well.
Yeah, we're excited about it. This is just, we're getting started, and we love to do things consistently over and over and improve upon them. So that's how we're looking at it with you. So, Andy, thank you for being my friend, for reaching out to Jill and I, and for this partnership that we're developing.
Yeah, and same here. I just can't get over the great work that you guys do, and we're just looking forward to a long and prosperous relationship.
Awesome. And signed some Chippewa players. Central Michigan, where I went, has a really good baseball team, and I have to believe some of your players are CMU grads.
Well, they are, and not just that. Almost our entire staff are CMU grads.
There you go.
The business staff. Just like, I don't know, they have this great program that they, it just seems like their resumes are at the top of the charts.
Well, that's how it should be. So, Andy, thank you very much.
Yep.
And so we'll be right back. I'm going to give you some updates on some cool activities involving the Children's Foundation right here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR, so don't go away. Welcome back. Larry Burns here. Great show. What a lineup. All very interesting folks to interview, and all friends, too. So the foundation recently completed our Round 2 2022 grant cycle. We have some great new partners, and we'll be announcing all of the grants very soon, and then we'll be highlighting many of those with videos that our team, Jill's team, and her great interns will be doing. So stay tuned for that. So coming up on July 11th is the 19th annual Paul W. Smith Golf Classic. It's held at the Detroit Golf Club. It benefits 4 wonderful charities, including Detroit PAL, Variety Detroit, and the Children's Center, and also the Children's Foundation. So thank you, Paul W. Smith, for your great work. If you're interested, go to www.paulwsmithfoundation.org to learn more. We'll also be partnering again with the Rocket Mortgage Classic and the John Shippen. So keep your ears and eyes open regarding what we're doing there. We're going to highlight First Tee, of course. And this year, that tournament is the week of July 25th. And so we're excited to work with Jason Langwell and Rob Kroll and his team again. The Ben Hogan Championship of Michigan, benefiting First Tee Greater Detroit, is moving to the Country Club of Detroit. And that'll take place on Monday, August 22nd, with a wonderful reception the night before at the Country Club as well. Sponsorships are still available. We would love for companies or individuals to participate, help our great First Tee. You heard Paul Davis talk about that. Andy Appleby mentioned it as well. So please, we would love your help. To do that, just email info@thebenhoganfoundation.org, benhoganfoundation.org for more information. So thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great rest of June. We'll see you in July. And as I like to say, onward.
Caring for Kids with Larry Burns on WJR has been presented by the Children's Foundation.